Hello and welcome back. My name is Ranbir Puar. I'm so honored to have you here with me today. If it's your first time checking out my work, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a, a TEDx speaker. I am an author. I'm a podcaster. And most importantly, I'm a mom of two incredible sons that I'm raising on the West Coast of Canada. The focus of my work is the self image. It's how you speak to yourself when you're alone with your thoughts. And the theme that I like to play with is called Learn to Like Yourself and Learn to Like Your Family. We all know that we love our family members, but sometimes we don't really like them. And so this is a journey into that self like, because you really need to learn to like yourself first before you can delve into the rainbows and unicorn land of self love. I think I'm just such a practical human. I'd rather go through from step one, and get it right. So that self love lasts you a really long time. And then when you learn to like yourself, the way you speak to others and interact with others and your relationships with others are a reflection of you. And when you feel whole and good, oh my goodness, those relationships really can serve you in a way that you dream about. Anyway, so speaking of relationships, I thought it would be a really cool conversation to have this week because there's so much going on in the world, and people believe this and people believe that, and that's all cool, about perspective, because we live in a democracy. It's really, really great to be able to have open and honest debate, which is struggling right now. And I find people are getting frustrated because they're trying to convince other people of their perspective. And I thought I'd share a little bit about this with you, about from my experience as a human, that one of the biggest life lessons I learned is that I don't actually have to convince everybody about for them. I don't need them to agree with me. And what does that mean? What did it take for me to get to the place where I didn't have to agree with a person's perspective, and I could still have a relationship with them? How could we have different sort of life perspectives and still relate? It's because I learned how to become secure in myself. By working through my own deep insecurities, I was able to be comfortable sitting across from a person that had a different perspective than me and still love them, still appreciate them, and not judge them. Because that, that's the essence of it all, isn't it? If you feel really good and secure in yourself, you don't need to be working on convincing other people on your truth, because you respect that they have their own truth and you have yours. And you don't need to exchange energy there. You just respect and move on. And one of the other things that I learned in this process, hard lesson I learned, is that I often don't share my, deep thoughts or opinions or perspective with certain people in my life, because I actually can see them and see how married they are to their story. And for me to try to interject and offer my thoughts or my perspective, what I think is right and true, um, that is me disregarding their current state, me not being present for them and acknowledging that it doesn't matter what I say, that person is not going to hear me. They don't want to hear me. They cannot hear me for some reason, but maybe they don't need to hear me either. So there are certain people in my life that I have close relationships with, and that we have very, very different perspectives on life. And I will listen to them try to convince me on theirs, but I am really truly committed to not sharing mine in that arena, because I find that I can see them, they're not ready to have a different uh, dialogue. So just honoring that, and I guess the summary there is to be so acutely present in your conversations and in your relationships that you can see when and if your perspective is something that can be tolerated by the other person, because they need to be able to absorb your ideas in order to hear them. And when a person isn't actively listening, which means they're listening to what you're saying, not what they want to say next, it's really hard to get anywhere. It's also really hard to have open and honest debate where you're allowed to say what you want without hurting other people's feelings. And in this arena, what you want to do is focus on the idea, not the person, because a lot of people are labeling a whole person's character just based on something that they believe, rather than just breaking up in segments. We're not all of one thing or another. We are the yin and the yang. The whatever is good inside of you, also the opposite can exist within you. And as soon as you recognize that, you can let go of this attachment you have to try to convince people to believe what you believe. As long as you're secure in yourself and you have a core belief about something, go with it. Go with it. You don't have to have other people believing what you believe for it to feel right for you. It's super important. And the cool thing about this is we can learn to teach this to our children, the next generation. We are under a great deal, I think, of duress when it comes to being able to teach our next generation of children independent and critical thinking. I feel like that's definitely something, again, I believe, I think, I don't know for sure. I'm just saying it's something that's definitely, in my perspective, under attack. Um, and maybe under attack is the wrong words, but it's something that's in danger of being eliminated because we're so afraid of judgment and the social the internet, you know, impact that people aren't saying what they feel or are afraid to talk about what they believe to be true. Interesting times. And so the point of today is just to talk more about, again, about being present, being secure in yourself, and letting go of the idea that you need other people on board with you for you to your beliefs to have any meaning or impact. Change happens one small, very small step at a time. And so you'll be surprised that humans are more alike than they are different. You'll be surprised that this so-called divide we are perceiving, it doesn't necessarily really truly exist when you sit and interact with people from all different aspects of life. So take the time to unite with your own inner dialogue. Take the time to unite with your higher self. Take the time to build your strong self image, because I feel like we are going into a time where being strong within yourself, building your resilience, is going to be one of the most important skills you will take forward. If you need help with that, you know that I've got free courses. I can support you in that arena. Resilience is a big part of self image and the core work that I do. So that's my like short video for you this week because, like I said, there are these battlegrounds unfolding on what people think and feel and believe, and how challenging that is, especially when it's in your close interpersonal relationships, and how you can avoid that sort of conflict, because you can disagree on one perspective. It doesn't have to destroy your whole entire relationship. Let's focus on ideas. Let's focus on the whole entire character of a person. You can't judge it based on one thing that they believe. I hope that helps you all. I hope that helps you pass this idea on to your children. They desperately need guidance on how to decipher this very confusing time. But you can do that gut check, and if it doesn't feel right to you, trust your gut, because every single one of us has a different life experience. Every single one of us is coming to the table with a whole different lens. Trust your lens. Trust yourself. But in order to get to that place where you can trust yourself, my friend, Tara, who's been on the YouTube channel before, just posted something about, yeah, like if you've got to be emotionally regulated to be able to trust your mind and your gut. So work on regulation, because if other people who have a different perspective than you is upsetting you, that is your problem, not their problem. You're the one with the insecurity. Work on that. Look at that as a sign that there's something within you that needs to be worked through, because your ego is trying to tell you that you're right and they're wrong and they should believe what you think. And if they don't, they're, blah, 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 blah. Take the opportunity if those signs are there. We're not going to have a lot of times like this to work through this stuff. So look at it as look at it as a gift. Stumbling through my words, apologize. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on this, or you would like to have a deeper discussion, make sure you leave some comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, you can email me. You can reach me on social media, any which way you like. If you're listening on the podcast, um, you can reach me through info@freewithin.me and send me an email. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to dive into this a little bit deeper, because I think it's a big, big challenge right now. Anyway, if you enjoyed listening today, please don't forget to share this with friends and family on your social media network, because for a small business like mine that's trying to make a big difference in the world, the likes, the comments, the shares, they actually impact something called the algorithm. And that means more people get exposed to the content. And the goal is to help more and more people turn their light switches back on so they can light up their own personal space, be independent thinkers, and lead themselves down a path of connecting with their higher selves. That's the big, big goal, right? So thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time.